Thank you, Mayor Lang. I asked a couple of times for the over the last couple of weeks for this to be put on to be put on as a information item, and that is information item number 2. And I'm just concerned. You know, I heard tonight several issues regarding RFPs and why it's good to look at those, and a lot of good arguments in regards to RFPs. And I heard those arguments, and I think they're valid. And so we have here what the city spends total for a year with the Times call for publication of legal notices, advertisement, marketing materials, and you know, in these hard economic times that are as hard as any economic times that we've seen since the Great Depression, would this be something I think that we should, I mean, is this something that we should look at, the advertising of these things? I think they probably are, and I think it's something that we should at least consider putting out for bid for an RFP and having as a discussion point. We had the owner and president of the Times call before us today, and we may find that they are still the most inexpensive and cost-effective business to do business with in Longmont, and that's perfectly fine. We may find that they're not, and we'll see what that looks like. And so I'd like to have us at least consider doing an RFP for cutting our costs regarding legal advertisement and marketing materials, because I looked at Friday, April 13th, legal advertisement. That was a huge portion of the paper for that day, and I agree, they did a wonderful job, and I think that if it can come in at a reasonable price and services that we're asking for, I think that's something that we should consider. So that's my 2 cents. Thank you.
I've got a comment about that. Who would be possible RFP responders? I guess that's what I don't quite understand. If we want the information to get out to our citizenry, what would be the other medium that could do that? And I know price is important, and it should be, but I'm trying to understand who else could provide that vehicle in the same effective way that they could. That's what I guess I don't quite understand.
I'm sorry. I think there's several businesses out there that would be interested. We heard tonight, is it 16,000 for the Denver Post? I don't know what the circulation of the camera is, but we might find that it is that the paper that the Times call is still the best one. But then we make sure that we're getting the best price for it too.
Mayor Ling?
Yes, Valerie?
I just want to point out that what newspapers can charge for legal ads is mandated by the state, and so it won't be different from one newspaper to another one. The other marketing types of information, of course, we do bid out a lot of that stuff, but the legal ads should be the same cost from every single newspaper.
Well, my only comment would be, I think we ought to, if you want to go forward with that, I think we ought to have a motion. We vote on it before we ask to pursue other avenues. And the only reason I'm saying that is if the costs are mandated and you can't adjust the cost, I'm trying to understand who the other vehicle would be that could take their place. So after we get through, maybe you'd like to make a motion and we can vote to go forward or not on that. Councilmember Benker?
Well, I think I was interested in everything. Legal costs are one thing, and if they are a flat rate, then that's not really the issue. I think, though, looking at the advertising and marketing materials would be, and in these times, I think it would be reasonable to consider re-looking at those. So I would like to make a motion that we re-look at the whole cost of legal notices, advertising, and marketing materials, and send out an RFP in regards to that.
Is there a second? Motion fails for lack
I'll
of...
second. I guess I'd like to ask. I would like a little bit more information on this. If we, it's interesting what we're going for RFP for and what we don't, because I was thinking about that when we were talking about EcoCycle. For example, we had the Human Services, Housing and Human Services Board here tonight, and I was thinking about the dollars that we give to some of our nonprofits that are not competitive. For example, we give a certain amount of dollars to the Hour Center or to the community food share, but it's not competitive, correct? This is a question for you, City Attorney.
What program was that?
We have a program where we take approximately $1 million of our general fund, if I recall, if that's the correct amount, and our board allocates it to a variety of different nonprofits in the city, and it is to provide services to certain clientele. Now, those kinds of services are not bid out. But then we have a nonprofit like EcoCycle where we're going out for RFP. And so I'm also wondering for some of the printing services that we have, including legal notices, that has never been done by RFP. But have we even asked? Have we? Is there any additional information with regard to printing services, which would include some of the ads? I see Valerie nodding.
Mayor Lang and Councilmember Benker, we can bring back some additional information on some of those, on a lot of the specific printing jobs and whether they have been bid. My understanding is that many of them were bid through an RFP process through purchasing.
Okay.
But we can certainly pull more information together that would give you that kind of detail. And then maybe you can make a better informed choice of how much really.
Yeah, I would like some additional information. Now, I know Longmont Life was bid, and we got a very good bid from the Times Call. It was it certainly lowered our costs substantially from what we had thought that getting a newspaper out of that magnitude.
Right, and we do bid out things like our recreation brochure, but we can give you some more detail on some of those specific line items.
I think that'd be good.
Well, given that, can we, rather than the motion to submit an RFP, you all right with seeing what information?
I would be fine with that. That's really my intent.
Okay.
I just want to get that information so that we understand that and so that it's out there in the public
Okay.
lexicon.
Thanks, Valerie.